How's it going everyone, this is MindBlank, welcome back to my channel, and this is the DREVO Joyeuse, currently the thinnest Bluetooth low-profile mechanical keyboard. We are going to take a look at this $70 keyboard tailored mainly towards office and productivity use and see if it is worth the asking price. This particular keyboard is a pre-production model, but as DREVO tells me, this will be the final design of this model before serial manufacturing, so retail models, with a minor twist. DREVO's an up-and-coming company offering keyboards and storage PC components, but what exactly would make their new keyboard a standout in today's overly crowded and overly populated market? Well, the low profile and mechanical attributes would be among the first. Certainly, this is not the first thin mechanical board to surface, but this also packs Bluetooth connectivity in a less than an inch tall body. It is a good looking piece of gear assembled into a quality aluminum unibody chassis. There's no options for the body color, although an anodized grey would look awesome on this thing, contrasting with the white only keycaps. And since I started on this subject of keycaps, these are ABS double shot and use a different locking mechanism to the switch body than what we've been used to seeing on regular thickness boards. And while it doesn't necessarily look like a sturdy design, I have been pulling these on purpose daily and there's nowhere they haven't gotten loose or anything of the sort. Switch options can be red, black or blue type, and if you're not familiar, blue types are the tactile clicky ones, reds and blacks are linear with no click, but the latter require a little more actuation force. My sample has blue type ones, and while the manufacturer is unknown, they are made in Shenzhen for this keyboard and probably others looking to sport the thin and mechanical badge. But anyway, they need around 50 grams of actuation force, have an audible click after the 1.5mm pre-travel and around 3mm total travel. The reduced total travel of 3mm means they're around 1 to 1.5mm less than regular size switches like Cherry MX's, for example. And here's a sample so you can hear how the switches sound while typing. The click is definitely audible, but it leans more towards the higher frequencies than the deeper spectrum like I've heard on other blue type switches. And of course, they will be a source for displeasure for some in quiet working areas. But you know, the click is always addictive. This is a 96 key layout in a 13.5 inches body, including a numpad, so yeah, they did cram quite a lot in this chassis, commendably without a lot of sacrifices. Like the 4 arrow keys which are intact in size amongst them, or the big left shift key. And yeah, the delete key was a compromise, being positioned at the top like we find on most laptops. I'm not a fan of this personally, to be honest, but other than this, all the big keys are stabilized, shift, caps lock, enter, etc. My left shift is missing the stabilizers on this pre-production model, but they will be present on the retail keyboards, don't worry. Of course, all keys are backlit with white LEDs, a pleasant tone neutral white that has no shift towards blue or yellow. It's brightness adjustable and has quite a few effects to choose from, but it's very bright and light spill is limited since the keycaps are so close to the body. Only white lighting will be available and there's no plans for an RGB version. I'm pretty sure by now you all noticed these side strips, and my model has RGB lighting on them, but DREVO has sadly scrapped this idea from the retail model to better align it to its targeted use, office work. So they will all come with plain white lighting on the side, and I actually think these colored strips lend character to the Joyeuse. It might have made it more appealing to anyone interested to have a touch of color on their desk, but nothing we can do about it now apparently. Right, so there's no use in me telling you that you can choose between color cycle or different colors by pressing the FN and / key, since this entire feature will be replaced. And oh, I almost forgot about the Bluetooth aspect. It's certainly not something to ignore, especially since this keyboard allows quick switching between wired and wireless. Now this means you can have it connected to your PC via the USB cable, which will be reversible on the retail model, and also to your Bluetooth enabled device while easily switching between them by pressing function and tab. This is a neat feature and in practice works really well since the switching is very fast, and also there's no worries about the battery life in this particular scenario since the keyboard is always tethered. On the other hand, if you want to go completely wireless, you're looking at around a quoted 6 hours of battery life with lights on full blast. Personally, I got around 4.5 hours total with intensive typing and lighting at 100%, reasonably well for the 1000 mAh battery it packs. And of course, this charges via the USB cable, which will be USB Type-C on the retail model. The function key has a little battery symbol on it and will light up when charging and stay off when battery is full or in normal wireless use. Now regarding the cable, it's very rigid and I'd really like to see it braided for extra style points. I did talk to DREVO and I'm not sure if they'll take my opinion into account, but they told me that they'll look into this. Okay, so I think you want to know how typing feels on it since it is designed more for office use than gaming. Well, the low profile keys take some getting used to if you're coming from a regular mechanical keyboard, I'll tell you that much, but actuation force is just enough to prevent accidental key presses while allowing for fast typing. I did have a problem with the delete key position like I mentioned, taking some getting used to, but I found the numpad edition and the small form factor really nice on the upside. Even if it's not a full-on number pad, it still does 80% of the work, the critical parts at least. Let's just say it would have been unfortunate if the keyboard came without it, I'm 100% convinced at this point. Also, the subtle click is enough to tickle the user's ears while not being overly noticeable for people standing like 20 feet from you. Let me not forget the switching from wired to wireless, which is really nice and fast if you run multiple workstations on the same desk, and of course the reduced footprint of the chassis is right at home for minimalistic setups. So I want to wrap this up and I'll give you my conclusions on the DREVO Joyeuse. I liked it, especially this non-existent model with the RGB strips lending some additional character. It is built very well, the fast switching is great, keycaps are nice with excellent lighting, the numpad is definitely awesome in this form factor, and the battery life is really not bad with dimmed backlights. My opinion is that it definitely makes the $70 price tag worth it, but I'd really like to see DREVO make the USB cable braided and offer an option for one with black or grey keycaps better and the RGB strip on a grey anodized model. I think this would make it appealing to more people since it's not like gaming is a chore on it. I mean, I played Overwatch for a few hours without any noticeable drawbacks, and besides this, it's not like productivity tasks will exclude gaming breaks, so might as well have the options, you know? But let me know your thoughts on this thinnest, low-profile, Bluetooth mechanical keyboard, and I don't know, do you think the RGB strips should stay or not? Thank you for supporting this channel by subscribing, and if you want to further support MindBlank Tech's growth, check out my Twitter and Patreon pages, linked in the description. See you next time everybody, bye bye.